Okay, let's start by opening up Dynamo and constructing 3 points so that we can get an idea of how the adaptive component works. So we're going to make a point at the base, which is part of a line, a height line across here, a point defining it, and then being connected to another point. And then finally, so we have 1, 2, and then the third point is the NURBS curve, any specific to starting point in this case. So we'll make the starting points of these 3 line definitions. And hopefully that'll make a little more sense than I just described it as we move along. So we have already got Dynamo open. And as a refresher, you just go to Manage and click on the Dynamo icon. And we're going to make a new definition. And we're going to start by just getting a point on the screen, that first point that we want to make for the adaptive column, or adaptive component, excuse me. So we're going to look for points by coordinate. So I'm going to just right click and do point, and by coordinate will come up. And we're going to use this twice. So I'm going to go ahead and copy C and copy V. And so we have that defined. And now we've got already 2 points, one on top of the other, or yeah. So what I want to do is just move one in a direction, in a Y direction, I believe it is, or no, excuse me, a Z direction. So let's put a slider in right away. So I'm going to do a number slider. And let's say we'll make that go from 1 to, I don't know, 50. And we'll make it go in increments of 1. And we'll go ahead and we'll give this a name. And we'll call that height. And I'll close this back down again so we don't get too much clutter going on. And I'll zoom out just a little bit. And we'll connect that to the Z, I think. Let's see what happens here. And we'll move that. And there we go. We now have our first point is the starting point. Our next point is the Z point. And we need a third point, which would be the curve, or the start of the curve. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to do that in a little slightly different way. We could have used geometry translate, another element, and we'll use that this time. So I'm going to go geometry translate. Oh, I'm not finding it. So let me see if I can find it here. Modifiers, geometry, and translate, and we want to translate in the XYZ direction. And we'll use this a few times in our code. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it right away and paste it just so we have another version of it. And now we want to make that third point, that point that's going to be the end of the wing. And so I'm going to take this point, the last point we made, and put that in as geometry. And then I'm going to move it out. And we'll call that the start with. We'll make another number slider. And I'll just copy this one over. And we want to move, I think, that in the Y direction. Oops, nope. Let's put it in the X direction. So there we go. And so now you can see we're moving out, in and out here. And what I want to do now is I'm going to, well, first of all, let's relabel this. Rename the node. And we'll call it start with. That's the start of the curve of the wing that we make. Okay, so now if I was to go ahead and do a polygon by points. Oh, we don't want outputs, we want the other way around. Nope, sorry, wrong one. By points, sorry, there we go. And we'll do a list create so we can add them together. And we're going to bring 3 points together. First point, second point, and the third point, and if we put all those points into a polygon, we get our polygon. So that's basically acting now like that adaptive component, except that we haven't assigned an adaptive component to it. So we're now well on the way of the start of the construction of our structure.